Welcome to Burning of the Midnight Lamp, where we are dissecting music history, album by album, track by track. And today we have come to the very last track on the Blade Runner soundtrack by Vangelis, Tears in Rain. Please like and subscribe to get our other discussions on other albums by other artists that we will release in the future. We also have a podcast where we will discuss these albums at length. And we have a Patreon where we combine the podcast and these video clips that you see on YouTube. You can also get them there in early access. My name is Frode.
My name is Chris.
My name is Even.
And let's jump right into Tears in Rain, the very last track on the album.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched sea beams glitter in the dark near 10 House Gate. All those moments will be lost in time, like tears.
Tears in Rain ends the album. Starts with a very legendary quote from Rutger Hauer.
Which he made up on the spot.
Well, part of it he did. Oh. Not all of it. The part about the attack ships on fire and the sea beam was part of the script. Might even have been part of the book, I assume.
In the script by Hampton Fancher and David Peoples, I think David Peoples wrote this part, the monologue. You can find it online. There's actually a Wikipedia page called the Tears in Rain monologue. it's that famous.
It's that famous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you can read the original there, and Rutger Hauer decided that he wanted to make it shorter, and he added some parts of himself.
The most famous parts he did himself.
Yes, the Tears in Rain part, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's almost improvised, you could say. I don't think he cleared it. I think they just filmed it, and the emotional reaction was imminent from the people on the set, and I don't know if they did more takes. They probably did, but he really nailed it there in that scene, both as an actor and certainly as a rewriter, because it's a genius little monologue being quoted all over the place.
Yeah.
We've actually discussed it before on this podcast.
Mm-hmm. David Bowie quoted it in his brother's funeral, actually.
Mm.
Wow.
So it's nice to have that monologue. It's very short, 42 words. It's nice to have it as a part of the soundtrack.
It creates a very nice intro to this beautiful track.
Yes, the rest of the track is combination of these large booming sounds and more droning synth sounds.
But I don't think this track would be as good without the monologue, because
No, I agree.
the rest of it is just basically dilution of what we've heard before. I mean, it sums up most of what we heard before. But
a little bit love theme in there with the
Yeah.
electric piano, and I think it is a beautiful track. It will still be a beautiful track, but the quote in the beginning also really lifts the track.
It does. I mean, even more than probably the blush response. I mean, you add up, and also the mine title, but here it needs it because it's also the title of the song. I mean,
If you were going to quote the album in different places on the soundtrack, this has to be in there.
yeah, it does.
Yes.
It does.
It's the Hamlet speech of sci-fi.
It
the way
is. But I mean, I'm not going too much into the movie, but I mean, how can we be sure that it's his real memories? Because we don't see much of these things that none of the things that he's describing in the dialogue is seen in the movie. I mean, there is a future out there. Again, that's what leaves you wanting more. I mean, there is this dream about the colonies and what's going on out there, but we never see it. And he's obviously seen it, but has he? Have they seen it?
That's true.
So it makes you think. I mean, where do they come from? Have they been out there? Do they live long enough to actually go through these travels? I mean, there's so much unresolved in that.
That's true. And we're just discussing how it would be without the monologue, but you can actually hear that because on the 25th anniversary edition, there's a track on the end of the second CD called "Fading Away," which essentially is the Tears in Rain track without the monologue, and it's 30 minutes longer or so. No, 30 seconds longer, but that's mostly just wind and sounds added on.
I mean, yes, it's fading away.
It's fading away, yes, and it's not as interesting, I would say, as the one with the monologue.
There is actually, talked about earlier in the podcast, fun little coincidence probably, but Tears in Rain, you also have the very first track they recorded as Aphrodite's Child, Vangelis and Demis Roussos and the rest of their band, called Rain and Tears. But obviously this title comes from the quote from Rutger Hauer. So it's clearly not something that Vangelis have thought up from based on that song. But still, it's a small fun fact, funny coincidence.
We can end this with a quote from Rutger Hauer about the music of the movie, quoted in the Future Noir book. He said that the music in Blade Runner is so devastatingly beautiful, yet at the same time it is many other things. Tacky, ominous, haunting, sad. Vangelis did an extraordinary job. His score became a major character. I think we can agree that he brings life to characters with this music.
It's an integral part of the movie that the movie couldn't have been without. Thank you to everyone who was watching us on this analysis of Tears in Rain. And we'll be coming back shortly with another album. Until then, it's only for us to say goodbye and have a nice day.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.